All right, we're going to be doing this cam profile. They've given us the graph, which is really nice of them. And the first thing that we're going to do is to look at doing a little bit of reading over here. It says the displacement graph showing uniform motion. That means that these are straight lines. The details of the camshaft roller and end follower, there we go, that's it, at its lowest position. Very important, that is the lowest position. And the vertical center line of the cam profile, that's over there. Right, it says the minimum distance from the cam profile to the center of the camshaft is 18 millimeters. Minimum distance, okay, so the profile, look at it there, down to the center, that would be 18 millimeters. You'll see that to the center of the roller is 26 millimeters. Right, so we're going to start out and we are going to draw a little line coming across here. Just going to use some color just to get the idea of where this graph is going to intersect. I'm going to do a little center line, very small little center line over there. Long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash. Okay, and then I take my circle stencil and it says that that roller is 16 millimeters. So I look for the 16 millimeter circle on this. Let's just find it. There we go. There's the 16 millimeter circle. I'm just going to get that lined up beautifully on there. And I take my 7 pencil over here and I'm going to draw in the story around there. It says that this is 10 millimeters. I'm going to find the 10 millimeter circle stencil and I'm going to do a little story over here. Sorry, there's the 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter circle stencil, do a little arc on that side, a little arc on that side, and drop some construction lines coming down over there and over there. And then it says that that's 58 millimeters going up. I'm going to take my pair of dividers, measure of 58 millimeters as fast as I can. 58 millimeters going from the center up to the top. That's the 58. I can now darken that in beautifully. Take that and draw a nice little line going across the top there and draw some lines coming down over here, giving me the cam follower. Right, there we go. That's that done. I now measure down that 26 millimeters. Remember they said that it was 18 millimeters. Over here it says 18 millimeters. Just going to show you where that is. There is 18 millimeters. I've measured 18 millimeters over here. If I come over here to the base of this, plop that in there, and then I measure off that 26 millimeters from the center, I should end up in exactly the same point if you look at that idea. Right. From there, what I need to do is I need to draw in the center line going across here. At that point, let's take my 0.3 pencil. Long dash, short dash, 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 long dash. Right, once I've got that in place, I'm then going to take a construction line across from the top of this, and I'm going to just draw a circle with that radius. I'm using a nice pair of compasses. Grab my pair of compasses, set them from that center over there, take that all the way out to there. And I'm going to draw a nice circle that gives the maximum height that this thing can get to. And once I've done that, I'm now going to go into the center over here. I'm going to draw that shaft. Draw the shaft. It says that it has a shaft diameter of 22 millimeters. Get your 22 millimeters on this thing. Let's just find that nicely. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's that one. This circle stencil is sometimes a little confusing. It's not always clear as to which number is going with which circle. Right, that's done. I then take a set square and I straight away do the hatching across it with a 0.3 pencil. Drawing nice hatching going across this with your 0.3. Come on. Yeah, no, dear darling, just work. Right. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Right, there's the hatching done. The next thing is very, very important. It says the rotation is clockwise. You're going to take your pair of compasses, place them at the center, wind them back a little bit, and draw in a nice little arc coming around like that, and put a little arrowhead on that, showing that it is going in a clockwise direction. Okay. Knowing that, I'm now going to draw in these lines. I'm just going to use color over here, and you may use color. A construction line going up there, a construction line going up there, a construction line going up there at the 60 degrees, and a construction line going across over here at 30 degrees. There we go. Okay, once you've got that, I'm just going to extend that out a little bit. Right, and now I'll say, all right, this thing is going in a clockwise direction. Therefore, my numbering needs to go from 0 over here. There's 0, 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 120 degrees, 150 degrees, 180 degrees, 210 degrees, 240 degrees, 270 degrees, 300. Oh, jeepers. Pencil's running out of lead here. That's no good. There we go. 300 degrees, 330 degrees, and 360 degrees. Right, once I've got all those in place, I can now start taking lines coming across to get the centers. Right, note that that graph is in the center of the roller. So I'm going to take this across, and I'm going to draw a little line coming across over here from, sorry, let's just do that from the 30. That comes all the way from the 30 over here, all the way across from the 30. Right, so it's coming from the 30 to that line over there. And now I'll take my pair of compasses and I extend that out to that point over there. And I'm going to arc that back onto the 30. There is my first point over there. Okay, you don't need to put little rings around or anything. I'm just highlighting it so that you can see that idea. The second, and once you've done that, what you can do is you can pick up your pair of compasses. I'm not going to do this necessarily every single time I do this. This radius that I've got on this pair of compasses is the same as that little roller, and I'm going to draw a little arc. Okay, you don't need to do a perfect circle. It's just a construction line circle from that center over there. Use a pair of compasses, not your circle stencil for that. You'll be wasting a lot of time otherwise. Right, once you've done that, the next one is to get to the 60. Take a line coming across from the 60 to there. Take your pair of compasses to the center. Arc it out to there. Get that radius. Go to the 60 over there. Pick up this little pair of compasses. Draw in your little circle at that point. There we go. Once you've got that, next one is the 90. There's the 90 over there. Take that across. Set your pair of compasses to that radius over there. Arc it round onto 90. And please put in these little arcs. You sometimes get marks for something as silly as that. And if you don't have the arcs there, they might not give you the marks. So there's my little circles that I've done. Carrying on over here, this is 120. Coming that across over there. Take your pair of compasses, extend them out. Go around to 120, draw that arc in. Take your little pair of compasses, place them down. It's going to get very boring. You're going to hear the same thing over and over and over. Right, next one is, it's at the very top thing over there, so that is at 150. I can straight away go to that 150 because I've already got that arc that I did right at the beginning, coming around from 150. Right, note I didn't finish that circle. It's not important because I'm not needing to do a full circle. literally just a little arc would make sense. The next one is to come over here. Now, what I would do is I'm going to change colors over here because I'm now coming down. Sometimes makes a little bit more sense. There's a different color over there, and I'm not going to get confused with the original colors. There we go, coming around over there, and I'm now going to take my pair of compasses, draw that little arc in that little circle over there. Once you've got that, come to this point over here. It's on the same line as that, so I'm going to take that across, take my pair of compasses, set them to that, arc all the way around, coming all the way around over here. Note it goes through the 210 over there, pick up the pair of compasses, knock them in there, draw that little circle over there. Right, the next one, coming in over here to this point over here. Take a line coming across from there, take a pair of compasses, knock them in there, do that arc all the way around to the 240, pick up the small pair of compasses, draw that little circle coming around there. Next one is this one coming from that point over there, draw a line coming across, pair of compasses, set them to that, do an arc coming all the way around, goes past that point to the next point, take your pair of compasses, draw the little circle. Right, next one, 300, that comes across over there, set your pair of compasses to that, draw an arc coming all the way around to the 300, take your small pair of compasses, drop that in over there, do a small little circle, right, and last 330, taking that over there, set your pair of compasses, draw it around, going all the way around to there, take the small pair of compasses, and draw in. That'll be the last one that you need to do because you've already got the last one drawing over there. Right, once I've got that, I then take my pencil and I'm going to do some feathering between these circles. Just little dots going around over here. Note, making tangents to the circles. Okay, you're making tangents to those circles. And going around, nice little feathering marks going around. This is quite tricksy, going over here. Right, this is going to go up here, that. Trying to move myself around as best I can to get this arc right. Right, very difficult for me to do this from this angle. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take that off the page and I can now get comfortable doing the feathering, making tangents to those little arcs. See the feathering coming around there. Get it right with your feathering first, and then you will be able to take a step back from that and go, yes, that looks correct. Once you've got the arc correct, you can then take your pencil and you can go over the feathering to make it look beautiful. Right, here we go. That's going to go over that. Around like that. Continuing through there. Just following that little blue feathered line that I made. You can see me moving the page, getting myself comfortable before drawing. Sticking over there. It's looking good. Right. And there we go. That is that done. And the last thing that you're going to do is to write in a little label over here. Just draw some construction lines and write in CAM, C-A-M, profile. There you go. That is that question completed.